I'm Bethan Bryan. I'm Assistant Artefact Conservator here at the National Museum's Collection Centre in Granton, Edinburgh. I am going to be working on this Roman arm guard from the fort of Trimontium, which is now Melrose, in the Borders. We have an upper arm guard that's been on display at Chambers Street at our main museum site for the past 20 or so years. We also have a lower part of the arm guard that was recently conserved by myself that's been on display at Trimontium Museum in Melrose. But this is the first time since they were excavated and conserved originally that they've all been back together, along with a large amount of fragments that we have had in store which we previously didn't know where they went. And this conservation process will be puzzling every single piece back together, ready for a big exhibition that is happening at the British Museum, and it will be the first time both pieces are on display together. The conservation process on both parts was done at very different times. What we've discovered in the fact that the two pieces have been brought back together for the first time was that some of the elements that we thought went in the upper arm guard, new research has revealed that actually they go in the lower arm guard. These insights have also helped us piece together the fragments that were in store. If we can work out what diagnostic features the fragments, when they are reassembled, can show us. For example, the upper arm guard had 2 rows of rivets that would have held it onto the leather sleeve that went underneath, whereas the lower arm guard only has the 1 line of rivets down the centre. Features like this have revealed how the arm guard itself was put together originally and how helping us now to reconstruct it. When I'm coming to try and match the pieces together or find places for the individual fragments, looking at the shape, looking at the little parts that might fit together, but we're also looking at the corrosion patterns that are on the metal itself to see if the colours and the textures can kind of match up and kind of blend together when you're joining them. Also looking for some of the diagnostic features such as rivet holes, and on some of the pieces there's even been surviving pieces of leather, so see if the leather bits, if they can match up as well. The fragments themselves, they range from teeny tiny ones to quite large sections, some which have been conserved previously in the 1990s. And so it's also going to be a question of looking at those joins that the conservator in the 90s found to see if we can find any more pieces that can fit together. The upper arm guard has surviving leather fragments on these individual bits, so that suggests that these fragments were most likely to near each other when they were buried in the ground, and the conditions were suitable for leather to be preserved. Only in small patches, but enough that we know that the piece would have been connected to a leather under layer so that that would be fixed to your arm when you were wearing the arm guard. This section of the upper arm guard was conserved in the 1990s, and the fragments have been adhered together with an adhesive called Paraloid B72. The metal is in brilliant condition, but the adhesive, the conservation adhesive, has started to age and has become quite brittle. So part of the conservation process now will be to take apart these joins and redo it so that the adhesive is nice and secure and solid, so for the next 20 years the object can be on display. Now I'll just be starting to use a bit of acetone under air extraction to soften the old adhesive. It's very brittle in some parts, so in some parts it might not actually soften very much to be removed. It might have to be manually removed with a scalpel, but the acetone starts to soften the old adhesive so that we can remove it and take the fragments apart. Now that we found a home for all of the fragments and the strips have been reassembled and we've worked out the pattern that they were once in, of these overlapping strips, we're doing the mount making process now. We're going to have, as you can see, a plastidote support that's cut to fit every single strip, and these will be secured in place by remace strips. These are polyester strips that will be adhered to the back of each strip, and once the plastidote has been cut to fit the shape of the arm guard, they will be pinned underneath so that the strips will sit securely and not move. The pins that will be used are stainless steel pins. They will be covered with a small amount of material that will soften the tips of them so that if they are in contact with the metal at any point, they shouldn't cause any damage from when the object is moved or any vibrations.